Origins of Greek mythology. Greek mythology is rooted in the ancient Greeks' attempts to explain the world around them, from the creation of the cosmos to human nature. At its core, Greek mythology is about gods, heroes, and the supernatural, blended with deep human experiences. The myths began with the primordial forces, chaos, Gaia, Earth, and Uranus, sky. Over time, these forces gave birth to gods such as the Titans, who eventually passed the reins to the Olympian gods. This transition marked the foundation of a pantheon that would govern every aspect of life in Greek society. The role of myth in ancient Greek culture. In ancient Greece, myths were not only stories for entertainment, they were vital in shaping Greek culture. Myths provided explanations for natural phenomena, moral lessons, and a framework for understanding human nature. The gods were believed to interact with humans regularly, offering wisdom, love, or punishment. Temples and festivals dedicated to these gods permeated daily life, creating a society deeply intertwined with mythology. Even in the city-state of Athens, playwrights like Sophocles and Euripides used mythological themes to explore the human condition. The gods of Mount Olympus. The Olympian gods were the primary deities in Greek mythology, residing on Mount Olympus. The 12 Olympians, including Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, and others, represented various forces of nature and human experience. Zeus, the king of the gods, ruled the sky and thunder, while Poseidon controlled the seas, and Hades governed the underworld. These gods not only ruled over the natural world, but were also deeply involved in the affairs of mortals, often aiding or hindering heroes, kings, and everyday people based on their whims. Humanity's origins. The origins of humanity in Greek mythology are varied and complex. According to one myth, the Titan Prometheus created humanity from clay. He later defied Zeus by stealing fire from the gods to give it to mankind, enabling civilization to thrive. This act of rebellion was both a blessing and a curse, as Prometheus was punished by being bound to a rock where an eagle would eat his liver every day. Another version of human origins involves the 5 ages of man, each characterized by a decline in morality and happiness, with the Golden Age being the purest and happiest period. The Trojan War. The Trojan War is one of the most famous myths in Greek mythology, chronicled in Homer's Iliad. It began with a dispute among the goddesses Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite over who was the fairest. Paris, the prince of Troy, was chosen to judge, and his decision to award the golden apple to Aphrodite, who promised him the love of Helen, led to a chain of events that resulted in war. The Greeks laid siege to Troy for 10 years. The war was filled with heroism, betrayal, and divine intervention. It ended with the Greeks using the famous Trojan horse to infiltrate and destroy the city. Creatures and beasts. Greek mythology is rich in bizarre creatures and terrifying monsters, which often serve as challenges for heroes to overcome. The Minotaur, a half-man, half-bull creature, was confined in a labyrinth and defeated by the hero Theseus. The Hydra, a multi-headed serpent-like monster, was slain by Heracles during one of his 12 labors. Other notable creatures include the Chimera, Cerberus, the 3-headed dog guarding the underworld, and the Gorgons, with Medusa being the most famous. These monsters embodied chaos and disorder, providing heroes with difficult trials to prove their worth. Legendary heroes and demigods. Greek mythology is also filled with heroes, humans with extraordinary abilities, often the children of gods. These demigods, like Heracles, Perseus, and Achilles, undertook epic quests to prove their courage, strength, and wisdom. Heracles, famous for his 12 labors, fought monsters like the Hydra and the Nemean lion. Perseus is known for slaying Medusa and rescuing Andromeda from a sea monster. Achilles, the greatest warrior of the Trojan War, had an almost invincible body except for his vulnerable heel. These heroes were often seen as the bridge between gods and mortals, embodying both the divine and the human. The sources of Greek mythology are numerous, with the most significant being the epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer, which chronicle the Trojan War and the adventures of Odysseus. Another key source is Hesiod's Theogony, which outlines the creation of the world and the genealogy of the gods. The myths were passed down through oral tradition and were eventually recorded by various writers and historians. The works of Euripides, Sophocles, and Aeschylus also offer insights into the relationships between gods and humans, often exploring tragic themes. The underworld. The underworld in Greek mythology was the realm of the dead, ruled by the god Hades. It was a dark, grim place where souls traveled after death, often judged by the god of the underworld and sent to either the fields of Asphodel, the Elysian fields, or Tartarus. The most famous myth surrounding the underworld is the story of Orpheus, who journeyed to the realm of Hades to retrieve his wife, Eurydice, only to fail at the last moment. The underworld was a place of mystery, where souls of the departed had to face their past actions, whether they were rewarded or punished for their deeds.